Time for World Sport from the BBC with me, Andy Barwell. Well, the athletics action promises to be red hot. It's day 5 of the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon, with Norway's Jakob Ingebrigtsen favourite to add world gold to his Olympic title in the final of the men's 1500 metres. Meanwhile, his fellow Norwegian, the man who broke his own world record to win the 400 metres hurdles at the Tokyo Olympics, will be top of the bill, as the BBC's Adi Adedoy now reports from the event in the United States.
The Olympic champion and world record holder Karsten Warholm will attempt to make it a hat-trick of world titles as well. The Olympic silver medalists Rai Benjamin and Alyssa dos Santos, who got the bronze in Tokyo, also in that field. Now, Warholm has barely raced all season. In fact, he hasn't raced at all because of injury, and we weren't really sure what sort of form he would be in. Now, I was in the mix zone when he ran in his heats. This is in the area where we interview the athletes, very near the finishing line. Rai Benjamin, who'd raced in the previous heat, stayed behind to watch Warholm in action. He was standing a few feet away from me, and I asked him, what did he make of Warholm's performance?
He's in shape. I mean, he's good. The kid's good. So, I just wanted to make sure that, it's all right, because I don't want to have an excuse or anyone saying like, oh, he only won because X, Y, and Z. But, we're all dealing with something. So just wanted to make sure, I'm all for competition, and I want to race the best people and beat the best people. So that's what's important to me.
I respect that answer 100%. I think it's very cool of him to say that. So I appreciate that, and for me as well, the victories that taste the best are the one you really have to fight for. So I would agree.
And there's every chance that Warholm, Benjamin and Dos Santos, the 3 medalists from Tokyo, will finish in the top 3 again. Just wonder whether it would be a different order this time. We'll find out later on this evening.
Meanwhile, the president of World Athletics, Lord Sebastian Coe, hopes that the current World Championships will help increase the profile of the sport in the United States. Athletics isn't in the top 5 of most watched sports in the country, but Lord Coe is optimistic it can make its mark.
We're going to work very closely with the United States Track and Field Federation particularly over the next 5 or 6 years. We have a glide path from here into Los Angeles. It will mean creating more events. We're partnering also with agencies to help us out there in the field. We're going to throw a lot of resource at this, and it is important. It's a market that we need to be in. We're currently, if you look at where the sport currently sits in the US, it's, on a good day it's about 8, on a not so good day it's about 9. So we've set ourselves a challenge of getting to 5, which in a complicated US sports market is good, but that can't be left to it'll be all right on the night.
How important is it for the future of your sport?
It's very important. It's not just about coming here and helping, spread the word and revitalise or punch life into a sport. Yeah, we want to do that, but actually the strength of the American market tells me that if we get it right here, it will have a knock-on effect for many of our federations around the world.
Now, Hugo Hull took stage 16 on cycling's Tour de France with a brilliant solo ride to victory in Foix. He became the first Canadian to win on the Tour since Steve Bauer in 1988. Well, Jonas Vingegaard retained the overall race leader's yellow jersey. He's 2 minutes and 22 seconds ahead of defending champion Tadej Pogacar, with Geraint Thomas, another former champion, a further 21 seconds back. The BBC's Matt Warwick is following the Tour.
You might think things had cooled off a little following the rest day in this relentless tour, but Thomas again had to work hard to keep pace. The Ineos Grenadiers rider was briefly dropped behind Denmark's Vingegaard and defending champion Tadej Pogacar, but regained contact before the final descent. Things were even more sticky at the front. America's Matteo Jorgensen crashing on a left-hander, almost sliding straight into a cliffside stall selling honey. Like Thomas, he recovered, but this is just the beginning of 3 brutal days in the Pyrenees, continuing with stage 17's climb to Peyragudes.
Well, football news now, and Barcelona have completed the signing of the Poland international striker Robert Lewandowski from Bayern Munich on a 4-year contract worth around $51 million. The 33-year-old had 12 months left on his contract with the German champions, and he has joined his new teammates in Miami as part of Barcelona's 4-match tour in the United States. Well, Lewandowski said the last few days have been very long. The deal is now done, and he can focus on a new chapter and challenge in his life. Meanwhile, Bayern have signed the Netherlands international defender Matthijs van der Ligt from Juventus on a 5-year deal. That's worth around $82 million. The fee equalled Bayern's transfer record paid for defender Lucas Hernandez from Atletico Madrid in 2019. German football broadcaster Taufik Khalil says de Ligt is a welcome addition to a packed but fragile defence.
De Ligt is a young player. He's very experienced for his young age. I think 38 matches for the German international team, for the Dutch international team. A lot of experience at Juventus. That's someone they say and they hope that he is tough enough to lead that defense, which had a lot of problems in the last few years. But now Bayern Munich has Hernandez, Upamecano, Pavard, Nianzou, and de Ligt. They have a problem in the defense inside. I think they have to get rid of one of these players because that'll cause a lot of trouble. I'm pretty sure.
The knockout stages of the Women's European Football Championship in England, the Women's Euros, begins on Wednesday with England playing Spain. The host manager, Sarina Wegerman, says she still has to wait to see if she'll be able to return for their quarter-final tie after testing positive for COVID-19. She's been communicating with staff virtually and watching training from a distance outside while wearing a mask.
It's not the worst nightmare. It's just the situation that we have to deal with. And unfortunately, we already practiced one moment that I wasn't around. So then we already practiced that a little bit in our pre-camps. But now I am around and I'm still doing my job. Only, yes, a little, well, it looks a little further away, but I'm actually really close because I'm just doing my job and things virtually or outside on a big distance and a mask. So yes, we just deal with the situation. We have, with the technical staff, we have such a workflow that's so that goes so fluent that everyone knows what to do and we're connected anyway.
Well, England will have the majority fans on their side in Brighton for the game, but does the Spain defender Ona Batel see her side as underdogs?
I don't think so. I don't think we are. I think we are in a good mood. Of course, we've considered some goals, but we are with confidence, and I think now it's going to be like a really tough game. Of course, it's going to be a really equal game, and I think they are good, but we are good as well. So it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be nice. It's going to be exciting. We know that it's going to be a brilliant atmosphere in England against England. I think nothing could be better.
In men's cricket, Pakistan need another 120 runs to beat Sri Lanka on the final day of the first test in Galle. Earlier, the hosts were dismissed for 337 in their second innings, Pakistan needing 342 for victory, and they closed on 222 for 3. Abdullah Shafiq unbeaten on 112. Well, Ben Stokes' final one-day international ended with an England defeat as South Africa were winners of a sweltering series opener at Chester Street in Durham by 62 runs. The BBC's Kevin Howes was at the game.
The hottest day, and England were worn down by South Africa. Rassie van der Dusen scoring 134, created with skill and endurance. Half-century support from Milan and Markram and making 333 for 5. It was a decent start in reply from Roy and Bairstow, but what the Durham crowd really wanted was a special farewell to Ben Stokes, retiring from ODI cricket. It wasn't to be, making just 5 before being trapped LBW to Markram. Still, though, he received a standing ovation. Joe Root battled away for an 86 on a ground where boundaries were hard to find. In the end, a 62 runs victory for South Africa. England bowled out for 271 in the 47th over. South Africa 1 up with 2 games to go.
Kevin Howes there reporting on that win for South Africa's men cricketers. And that's where we end this edition of World Sport from the BBC. Thanks for listening.